Special Envoy Steve Witkoff landed in Moscow on Wednesday to meet with President Vladimir Putin, just 2 days before President Donald Trump's deadline for Russia to end the war in Ukraine or face new sanctions expires. Upon arrival, Witkoff was greeted by Kremlin Special Representative Kirill Dmitriev, Russian state media reported. Photos from the TASS news agency showed them walking together in Moscow's Zaryadye Park, accompanied by aides and bodyguards. The Kremlin confirmed the meeting with Putin, sharing a video of the two shaking hands. The discussion lasted about 3 hours and was described by Foreign Policy Advisor Yuri Ushakov as useful and constructive. "We conveyed certain signals regarding Ukraine and received corresponding signals from President Trump," Ushakov told reporters. "We'll see when Witkoff can brief Trump on today's talks." Though Witkoff is officially the special envoy to the Middle East, he has visited Russia several times since Trump took office in January. His last visit was in April, when he discussed the possibility of renewing peace talks between Ukraine and Russia. This trip follows Trump's deadline for Moscow to stop the war by Friday or face new sanctions, including, secondary tariffs on key trade partners like China and India, who are major buyers of Russian oil. Putin will stop killing people if energy prices drop another $10 a barrel, Trump said in a CBS interview. He'll have no choice because his economy is struggling. When asked about Witkoff's message to Moscow and how Russia could avoid new sanctions, Trump said, "Get a deal where people stop getting killed." Despite threatening tougher sanctions, Trump also noted that Russia has been pretty good at avoiding sanctions and called Russians wily characters. The Kremlin has downplayed the threat of new sanctions and tariffs. However, Russian sources cited by Reuters say Putin is concerned about angering Trump and risking a chance to improve relations by ignoring the U.S. president's call for peace. Still, Russia's war goals remain a priority. These include the full withdrawal of Ukrainian forces from 4 eastern regions claimed by Moscow Kyiv, accepting neutral status and limits on its military, demands Ukraine has repeatedly rejected. Meanwhile, Kyiv calls for an immediate ceasefire and urged allies to push for regime change in Moscow. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Wednesday that it's crucial Moscow feels global pressure, especially from the U.S., with the threat of tougher sanctions for continuing the war. Earlier, sources told Bloomberg that the Kremlin is considering an air ceasefire with Ukraine to ease pressure on Trump while continuing its military campaign, where Russian forces have made steady gains. However, Putin does not plan a broad ceasefire yet. Adding to tensions, Trump recently announced deploying 2 U.S. nuclear submarines after a social media exchange with former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. He did not specify if the subs were nuclear-powered or armed, nor their locations. On Monday,